People, Deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in. As you've seen, the Premier League, the EFL, the WSL and Academy football has all come to a halt now. As you can see, football has been suspended in this country until, I believe, April the 2nd. The Premier League have released a statement, the Footballing Association have released a statement in relation to international games as well. Youth football people have implemented statements, and just about any governing body has followed suit and done the same thing. It's a long time coming. You've seen several leagues in Europe postponed or whatever's happening. You've seen a number of sporting events. Obviously, with sadly Arteta contracting it, and hopefully he gets through it. Callum Hudson-Odoi seems to be on the mend. You're seeing reports come out every hour about people self-isolating and incidences. I believe West Ham is the latest one I've seen literally just before I started this video. Everton, Watford, our neighbours, obviously Arsenal, Chelsea with Callum Hudson-Odoi, Leicester previously reported symptoms, and there's bound to be a number of clubs and people. Now, obviously, a lot of it is not hysteria, but we need to differentiate, in my opinion, precautionary measures and people legitimately with the disease. Do you get what I'm saying, people? We need to not just assume people have it and whatnot. I'm a big fan of, ironically, prevention is better than cure. Of course, it's going to suck not having football. As much as Arsenal stress me not having football for a couple of weeks, a part of me thinks they shouldn't put a date on when it's going to return either, because who's to say, God forbid, by that time it doesn't get worse. I'm not trying to scaremonger or anything. Health is wealth, first and foremost. And you've got to be proactive, because the footballers and the people that work at clubs is one thing. Again, commiserations, and hopefully everybody can get out of these issues they're facing. But you've got to think of the football fans, the honest football fans where if we were going to Manchester City, we have to take trains and cars and all of these things where everyone's going to come into contact, and different means of transport publicly, coaches, etc. You're going to get to the game, you're going to buy a drink, you're going to, put ketchup on your hot dog, all of these things, condiments, everybody's going to exchange. It's a bit nasty, but some people don't wash their hands in general. And in public places, just to see the amount of people congregating, it doesn't make sense to put the general public at risk, really. There's not much we can do, really and truly. It is what it is. We have to accept it. If this happens again, I do think the footballing organisations have to think faster and be a bit more proactive in their approach, because a blind man could see that this was needed. Maybe accelerated a bit last night after talks of an emergency meeting and things like that. But it does seem a bit like they've bowed into public pressure and things to follow suit with other organisations, not just in football but in sport across the world. Health is wealth, first and foremost. So football, very few things are more important than football. This is one of them. Apparently Arteta, for what it's worth, is on the mend, and he's more concerned of, missing time with the team and things like that. And that's typical Arteta. You love to hear that. Hopefully, he can get through it. Hopefully everybody can get through it. You've heard allegedly there's around 100 people at Arsenal allegedly who could have it. When I say could have it, are self-isolated. You've also known our London Coley base, as well as our academy in Walthamstow in Haylen, has been shut. Obviously precautionary measures. And it is concerning, because apparently Mikel didn't contract it from the Nottingham Forest/Olympiacos boss. So you have to wonder, where is the disease? Did a member of staff give it to him? Was it, a handshake with a fan? We don't know. For what it's worth, I've heard Liverpool are still training like everything's cool and everything's fine, and that's good to hear on their end that nobody's thinking it, nobody's going through anything. But these things can change, and I do think over the next couple of days, hours even at this moment, you're going to see more reports of more players and more people getting this, because it does seem common as getting the common cold. And I must admit, I'm no doctor, so I don't know what to make of these people, because on one hand, you don't want to scaremonger, you don't want to be buying, this is why I think people need to be careful with their languages. You don't want to see people buying up I can't blame them, hella toilet paper and all of these things, because you're a genius if something happens. But at the same time, it does feel like generally, maybe the last week we've taken it seriously, but there's been a lax approach in this country versus elsewhere. Because again, I don't want to scaremonger, but on the other hand, when you're seeing Italy and you're seeing the other countries, and not even just obviously society, but the shit like stock markets are crashing, interest rates are being cut, like the economic fabric of a lot of nations, and even globally, is being pushed to the brim because of this virus. Investors don't want to invest because the landscape is uncertain. So that's why stocks are moving. That's why I haven't even looked at gold prices, but you can imagine there might have been a small uptake in gold or certain other safe haven investments, or investments that are deemed such as that. Health is well first and foremost. I hope nobody else has contracted this, but just looking at Arsenal, you'd imagine some other members of the first team squad or playing staff have such people, because naturally they've come into contact with Arteta. They've obviously shaken hands when they meet at the training session. Obviously football's hands-on. All it takes is he touches you and it's a wrap from there. And you've seen a number of our young players recently training with the first team squad. So you can't really put a... And I don't know if I've said it, but Watford are closed as well, who are our neighbours. You can't really put a finger on who's infected, what's infected. All I can do is say prevention is better than cure. Those who we know, we self-isolate. Those who, you know, we have even a consideration, they self-isolate. There's not much more people can do to contain this, because you hear it's like the common cold. It seems like a relatively new disease. There obviously is ways of fixing it, but it is what it is. I've actually seen someone apparently on the news, a train driver, London TfL, has contracted it. You've seen some cases in Romford's hospital as well. Apparently 2 people have died. We all know this disease affects the young and the elderly more. And it is what it is, and I don't know what to make of it really, people, because I mean, I'm at work, I've left my office, it's still going on for me, do you get it? Life is still going on for me, TfL is still going. I do believe some schools are shutting, but I have seen the school open, and I'm sure other organisations are shutting. A lot of friends I speak to are working from home, those who have the chance and those who can, and it does seem like very shortly, people, there's going to be a choice for employers, employees alike. Do they stay at home? And one thing I will say as well, I'm not going to get into the Boris Johnson thing, but one thing you need to look at is self-care. Obviously the government have a duty to care for you and whatnot, but you truly need to comprehend the only one that can protect your health is you. It's very difficult to combat this, but be sensible. Don't go to places you don't need to go to. Stay at home when you can. It doesn't need to be said, but wash your hands and take any other precautionary measures. There's very few things more important than football, people. This is one of them. And my heart goes out to obviously Mikel Arteta, anybody at Arsenal affected with this, anyone in football in general affected with this, the whole footballing community, just people, genuine citizens, people, just anyone going through any problems with this, my heart goes out to them, and I hope they're able to deal with it and combat it and ultimately bounce again and come back, man, really and truly. Like, it was nice to see Callum Hudson-Odoi's little video where he was saying, you know, I'm kind of recovered, I'm on the mend, I still got to take the apologies for the noise, people, I've still got to take precautionary measures, but it is what it is. Only God knows what I'm going to make content about, people, so if you've got any video ideas, hit me up, because these next 2 weeks are going to be a bit of a stress. But yeah, man, the league's needed suspending. Arsenal versus Spurs at under-23s level that I was going to go to today has been suspended also, people. On that note, I'm out. Deluded. Please comment, subscribe and do the rest. I'm out.